Superstar Shake-Up, Part 1, Monday Night Raw. Lots to talk about. I'm going to try and go through it as quick as I can, but I can't promise anything. We started the show with Kurt Angle, of course, makes perfect sense. And he was interrupted by Jinder Mahal. And Jinder Mahal cut a pretty decent promo, to be fair, about him being the #1 pick. And that he was the best in this, that Raw was his kingdom, and that he was the best. And Kurt challenged him to prove that tonight and put his United States title on the line. And his challenger was Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, fair enough. I was assuming maybe Finn Balor would be his opponent. Very happy with Jeff, and Jeff won. The match was okay. I think the fact that the Jeff Hardy won is the best part about this segment, if I'm honest with you. Like they've really leapfrogged Jeff Hardy with quite a push. Yeah, proper. I assumed it was going to be Finn Balor, like I said, but Jeff Hardy dives in and wins the US title, new United States champion, Jinder Mahal champion for 8 days, I think it was. So yeah, for me, good start to the show. Although I do think this is a precursor to Seth Rollins going to SmackDown, and Seth Rollins on SmackDown with people like AJ and Shinsuke Nakamura, those potential matches. Yes, please. Anyway. And then backstage we had Jinder Mahal declaring that he's going to have he would have his rematch at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. And he was interrupted by No Way Jose doing his little dance routine that I don't care for. I don't mind dancing at all. No Way Jose dancing just doesn't feel natural or rhythmical. It just doesn't feel right to me at all. I'm not a fan of No Way Jose. If these two start feuding after the US title thing, then these two I'm not going to be wanting to see. This will be definitely the piss break of Raw of these two, if these two start feuding. But next we had Bayley and Sasha one-on-one. I don't understand why Bayley's wearing this almost like a bib thing she wears now. I don't understand what that's about. The match was good enough between these two. It was pretty good, to be fair, actually. It was interrupted by not Absolution, the Riot Squad, obviously part of the shake-up, and I think they needed this. Both Absolution and the Riot Squad have done fuck all. Absolutely jack shit on either brand. They've literally done nothing. It was for all six. For me, it's been very poorly executed. Liv Morgan had a blue tongue, by the way, for some reason. I don't understand why. But none of these six in Absolution, or I'd assume because Paige being the manager of SmackDown, she's going to have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville over on SmackDown, which makes perfect sense to me. But I hope that they do something with Ruby Riott and the Riot Squad this time, because just both of them just really bombed like absolute shit on both respective teams or both respective brands. Have just bombed like shit up until now. Like Ruby Riott had got one title opportunity and that was it in the whole tenure, and I don't think Paige or any of the other women on Absolution got anywhere near a title shot. I think obviously Paige getting injured hindered that story a little bit, but still there's two others that still didn't see, even if Paige hadn't been that injured, there wasn't any signs that there was obviously going to be something they were going to do with them. So yeah, that's the newest additions to Monday Night Raw. Next we'll see the Authors of Pain taking on Slater and Rhino, and this match was pretty good. Authors of Pain won, but it went a lot longer than the last week's match. And I wonder, I don't know if I'm reading into this a little bit too much, but Authors of Pain got jumped by Slater and Rhino as they got the backs turned, and it led to the match being a bit longer. Slater and Rhino getting in a bit more offense, and Authors of Pain getting the win in the end. But I don't know if this was. I remember just being a bit hopeful, with a bit of character development, that maybe they need Paul Ellering. Ellering? What's his fucking last name? How do you pronounce it? Ellering? We'll call him Paul. That they need Paul as their manager and advisor and / coach or however you want to describe him, to keep him focused. Maybe I'm reading into it a bit too much. Who knows? That was my initial take on it. Next we have Miz TV, and he announces the newest and biggest and best signings to Monday Night Raw, and it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So, I mean, the mystery of what they were going to do with those two was solved pretty quick. And in the ring, so the Miz and the Miz Taraj and KO and Sami had the biggest embrace of all 5 men hugging and jumping. It was quality. It was so funny. The promo that followed between that was obviously mainly driven by the Miz and KO and Sami was brilliant. I thought until Kurt Angle came out and announced that Miz is going to SmackDown, I thought that these 5 could be quite a team and quite a funny team as well, but it was not meant to be. Kurt Angle comes down to the ring, or enters the ring and interrupts the celebration and says that SmackDown is going to be having the Miz, but not the Miz Taraj. And they announce, Kurt says that they haven't been signed, and then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens pull out an email that they printed off that says that his decision's been overruled by Stephanie McMahon, that KO and Sami are going to get signed to Monday Night Raw. So, and as a side note, the commentary team had a very confusing argument as to not understanding what it means to sign a free agent. Because Cole was trying to push it how these guys signed to Monday Night Raw, they're not signed to WWE, and Coach was trying to explain, well, the free agents, so you can sign free agents. It was weird why they spent so much time arguing about it, but never mind. And for once, Coach was right about this one, so fair play. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt beat the Revival. The match was fine. Bray looked good. Matt looked like he didn't look like he was moving right. Even Matt doesn't really move right anyway, but he looked like an extra little bit in his walk. I thought, Matt and Bray got the win. I hope this means we're going to see the Revival on SmackDown. I mean, just in my head, just what I'm thinking about it, Revival versus Usos. I mean, that match could be fucking incredible, and the Revival need some character and status reviving because they're just in fuck all since. I mean, it's not helped they've been injured. I've got a lot of the time on the main roster, but I think put them on SmackDown, press the reset button, the restart button, and let's start them again because they're a great fucking talent. And backstage we had Ronda backstage, and still the promos on. They're still not there yet. I don't know how to describe it. A promo method isn't still not right. We had Natalya, who very face. She's turned back to being face now, which is, I think Natalya should always be face. She does not work as a heel for me at all. She doesn't work. Not even Sami Zayn, you'd never think would be a good heel, but he does it really well. But Natalya just does not do heel at all well for me, not in the fucking slightest. But she's back as being face, which I'm happy with, I suppose. And yeah, I'm Ronda and Buddies. And that is on Monday Night Raw. Next we had Mickie James taking on Ember Moon, with Nia Jackson commentary. There's not really much to say about it. The match was pretty good, to be fair. And Mickie James sold the Eclipse better, dare I say, well, maybe on par with the way The Rock would sell the Stone Cold Stunner. On par, maybe a little bit better. You could argue either way, I suppose. But the match was pretty good. The Eclipse ending was fucking brilliant. Mickie James sold it like an absolute trooper. Ember Moon got the win, which is the right decision. Keep Ember Moon strong, keep her winning. Maybe we'll see Mickie on SmackDown. I don't know. Yeah, there wasn't really a great deal to say about this, really, other than the match was pretty good. And the ending. Next we have a Dolph. Now this is the part of the show where I don't know how I feel about it. Dolph comes to Monday Night Raw, still the same fucking everything about Dolph. He's same look. Like I said for a little while that he needs a refresh. The same look, the same entrance, non-music and then music. and was interrupted by Titus O'Neil. And I thought for a minute, maybe if he was to join Titus, I might be interested. I don't know. But he announces that he's not come alone, and we get Drew McIntyre. I was not expecting this. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm happy. I'm over the moon to see Drew McIntyre. I've got a lot of time for him. I think I would love if I had to rank two. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if I had to rank two Brock Lesnar matches who I want to see that are left, is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley and the Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. Those are two Brock Lesnar matches that I would be invested in. But anyway, they gave a beat down to Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews, and the ending was a combination of the Claymore kick and the zigzag, which worked really well. But I don't know about these two being together. Like, I feel that personally, I think that Dolph Ziggler needs Drew McIntyre more than Drew needs Dolph, because Drew got a hell of an ovation. They were chanting for him. Was it a holy shot? This is awesome. Anyway, he got one of those two chants when he first showed up, and he looked fucking incredible. He looks a bad dude. He really does. I just don't know I don't know how I feel about being team with Dolph. I really don't have a clue how I feel about it. I'm glad to see him on Monday Night Raw. I'm glad to see him on the main roster. I think Drew's, like I said, he's fucking incredible. I think at this point, there's not really anything Dolph can give Drew that Drew can't get for himself, although he's already got for himself. I think that Drew is the shot in the arm of change that Dolph Ziggler needs. So this seems like it's more of a thing for Dolph than it is for Drew. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with him. I'm a massive fan of him. Dolph's of course Dolph's talented, but he's stale. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. But I'm looking forward to what they do with it. Next we had Roman Reigns. His promo was very forgettable because I forgot what he said. So, but I know one thing: he was outshone by Samoa Joe once again, and Samoa Joe's become like the hype boy for Brock Lesnar for some strange reason. I get what he's trying to do; he's trying to dig at Roman Reigns. That Roman Reigns can't beat Brock Lesnar, but he's coming out and he's, rather than hyping himself, will be sort of hyping Brock Lesnar up a little bit too much, I think. But either way, Samoa Joe's a beast at a fucking promo. His delivery is fucking incredible. And he just showed clips of Brock Lesnar beating the snot out of Roman Reigns the past 3 or so times they've met. And obviously Brock Lesnar winning. And Joe vowed that he's going to make Reigns go to sleep at Backlash. So it seems Roman Reigns' next two pay-per-view, or whatever they're fucking called, like show matches, are Brock in Saudi Arabia and Joe at Backlash. So we'll see how that goes. I think with Joe, it's making me think that Roman Reigns might not actually win in Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure though. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day, I suppose. Next we had Mandy Rose taking on Natalya, and unfortunately Mandy Rose had to take the loss here, which I think is a shame, because after beating Sasha last week, I think it's a bit of a shame to just see her take a loss this week, But yeah, Mandy Rose took a loss, and the match was fine. Natalya locked in the sharpshooter, got the tap. Sonya Deville got in the ring. They both gave Natalya a beat down, and Ronda Rousey came down for the save. And the way Ronda was walking to the ring, it was strange. She sort of like got a, I don't know how to describe it. Just the way she was walking down to the ring with like a power walk, I suppose that's how you describe it. And just her facial expressions aren't on point just yet, I don't think. And Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville scupper, and Sonya Deville decides that she can take Ronda Rousey. And I thought, fair enough, both got an MMA background. I've mentioned Sonya Deville MMA background multiple times, so Sonya gets in the ring and they start doing very MMA based things. Ronda gives some like, MMA punches and like I don't know what the fuck the takedown was. It just sort of, it happened so quick. Ronda just went for it and just took it out, and the next thing you know, she was on the floor. But like I said, it was all very MMA based, and I don't like it. I'm not here to fucking watch MMA. I'm here to watch fucking wrestling. If I wanted to watch MMA, I'd watch fucking UFC or Bellator or whatever other fucking promotion there is. So not initially a big fan of this. I'm still behind Ronda. I need to see her in a wrestling match then, a proper one-on-one wrestling match with another wrestler. I think this might lead to, well, like I said, I think that Mandy Rose and Sonya may be going to SmackDown. So what this will lead to, this might lead to, I don't know. But we need to see Ronda back in the ring sooner rather than later for me, because the more just promos and the more non-wrestling that she does, the more she's losing me a little bit. I'm still very far. I'm still behind. I still want to succeed and all that good stuff, but the promos are still weak, and her mannerisms and facial expressions are just remind me how not the finished package she is yet. I want to see her wrestle. That's all I want. I want to see her wrestle. I don't want to see her doing MMA punches and MMA takedowns. I'm done with it. Anyway, next we have Baron Corbin gets announced to Raw. What to fucking do? I hope that Baron Corbin becomes the punching bag for Bobby Lashley, then Braun Strowman, and then whoever else. I don't like Baron Corbin at all. He's got one of the best finishes, I think, in wrestling. Well, maybe not the best, but he's got a really good finisher. And I think he's wasted on him. I don't like him at all. Apart from his finisher, he's got fucking nothing. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my Baron Corbin. I don't like him. Next, we see the Bar lose to the Fashion Police for some reason. I don't understand why. But yeah, they lost to the Fashion Police. Fuck knows why. Don't understand it. It's making me think, are they going to split up the Bar? And, well, not that I'm thinking, maybe it's me hoping that they're going to split the Bar up and send Cesaro over to SmackDown. Because some of the talent that's going to be on SmackDown, there's some dream matches to be on SmackDown. Fucking hell. Next we had Elias cutting a promo backstage that he didn't do it in the ring because the crowd or this arena wasn't worthy. He was going to give Renee a one-on-one performance, but she shut him down after about the second word he sang, and sent it back to Cole, which was quite funny. And we end with the main event, which was the 5-on-5 tag. KO and Sammy take on the Miz, Taraj and the Miz, and sorry, no, let me start that again because I fucked that right up. The Miz, Taraj and the Miz and KO and Sami Zayn take on the team of Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. And the last announcement for the Raw shake-up is Bobby Roode. So they must be giving Bobby Roode some kind of a fair push initially to lead into the main event. And the match was long. It was alright. Lashley, I'm a big fan of Lashley, so I'm going to talk about Lashley, so deal with it. Lashley had a right little a storming few minutes. We didn't see a great deal of him, but the rest of the match was good enough. Braun Strowman came in for the long-awaited hot tag and just demolished everybody. Faces got the win. And one thing, Corey Graves accidentally mentioned the Bullet Club in Finn Balor's entrance, which was hastily corrected. That was Raw, and I know we got the original Raw roster before the shake-up, plus the SmackDown additions, plus the return of Drew McIntyre, or the call of Drew McIntyre, should I say. And just in them 3 hours, the amount of talent that you saw on that show is fucking incredible. It really is. And the fact that they've got all this talent and they're still putting on pay-per-views like in the previous few pay-per-views before WrestleMania stuff that have been some have been par and subpar. It is laughable. The amount of talent that they've got each Monday Night Raw could be a pay-per-view level show if they wanted it to be, because the talent is fucking ridiculous. We don't need to have everyone there week in and week out. You know, we don't need to have the same people doing the same thing every single week. We can spread it out. Like, it doesn't matter if we don't see, say, one person. You know, if we see him on 1 week and we don't see him on the next week, it doesn't matter, because there's so much other talent there. It just places to fight for. But there you go. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with SmackDown. Both of my main predictions for who would go to Raw were wrong. I really thought that Raw would want the drawing power of Daniel Bryan, but they've got it elsewhere, obviously. I'm happy to see Daniel Bryan remain on SmackDown. You feel like a SmackDown guy. And the other one was, I'm surprised that the New Day and the Usos haven't been transferred. One of them hasn't been transferred to Raw. I'm surprised they're still both on the same show. But there you go. A few shake-ups or superstars that got changed to Raw that weren't announced on the show. Mike Kanellis. I assume a few don't even know who that is. But that's Marie Kanellis' fella. He's done fuck all since he arrived. And Chad Gable by himself. The Ascension, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. If they're bringing Chad Gable over to maybe, what I'd like to see is Chad Gable and Jason Jordan reunite, and the American Alpha as a team can move forward with the backing of Kurt Angle. I think that could be, I think that'd be fucking brilliant, I do. That's how I wanted it. That's how I wanted the All American Alpha push to go in the first place when they went up to the main roster. With being backed by Kurt Angle or managed by Kurt Angle or something like that. That would have been cool. But anyway, maybe we'll see that now. And the Ascension mean fucking nothing. Mojo is shit. Zack Ryder is alright. Mark Kanellis, he's pretty good, but we've not seen anything of him in WWE yet. He was, I saw him in TNA. He was pretty good there. I mean, him and Maria are a really good duo. But we've seen him do fuck all on the main roster. And with how just the vastness of the Raw roster is at the minute, I don't think he has much of a time to shine, really. He can, he has the ability to, but whether he will or not isn't. Hopefully he's not just there, it's just another job, but in all honesty he probably is. That was Raw. That was part one of the shake-up. I'm looking forward to SmackDown. I think it's a safe assumption that Seth will be going to SmackDown because the mid-card belts swapping over. I didn't see any of the belts swapping over really, because half of the belts are, Raw branded. It makes no sense to have the SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw, and it doesn't make any sense. And AJ Styles feels like the solid SmackDown guy, and Brock Lesnar's not going any further than Monday Night Raw, is he? Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to SmackDown. Goodbye.